Welcome back to the Full Program Golf Podcast with me, Josh Conlon, and as ever, Stevie McAvoy joining me. Today is the long-awaited Bandon Dunes conversation. Played it pre-COVID, but we're going to chop it up today. We're going to get into it. The sun is out. Got a bit of a red tan going on. It's time to talk summer golf. Let's get into it. Stevie, how are we doing?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm really well, really well. I know we had a brief just chop up of what's been happening, and before we jumped on the pod, and it feels like golfing season's really here. I mentioned it on the intro. You know, you've got that early season burn off the patio that you've just got to get in. You've got to really enjoy it, but the sun's got to be out to have it, and we're here.
It was a beautiful weekend. There's no other way to put it. And to be honest, I can extend it back. It was a beautiful week. I had the pleasure of going Woodall Spa on Wednesday, and let me tell you, sneaking a little midweeker with a pal in the sun at a really good golf course that you've not played before. It's ticking a lot of boxes. And then like you said, I know you had a bit of bonanza this weekend, but I managed to sneak around in Saturday afternoon as well. And God, it was glorious, wasn't it?
It's just the best. Golf in the sun. It's just the best. You know, we had on the Saturday in particular, we played in the morning, played a few more holes in the afternoon. But then what we did afterwards, you know, you're looking at your putting comps have reappeared. Your one club challenges have reappeared. And for those that don't know, we've quite a few loops that we can play at Royal Mid Surrey. So it's one club, exactly as you say. Loser buys the round. Anyone that wants to be in, you pick your club, you take it out. I went with the 8 iron. If you go with the 9, if you go with the 7, depending on your on the way you want to play it. And it's just nice to see it back because that is purely a summer thing that we have. It's just great to be here.
100%. I always think the one club's quite interesting because I remember vividly last summer going out with, I think it was an 8 iron and playing a 6-hole loop. And it's like 9 on the inner thrust, quite a short par 4. I think I just went 8 iron to the middle of the green, and it almost like it opens up this world of possibilities. You're like, am I overcomplicating things with these 14 bats that I've got on the back of my shoulders? So interesting concept, great game. It lands us in trouble sometimes, but hey, we just love it, don't we?
We do love it, and you know we get a bit silly, don't we? We've had a couple of drinks, lands us in a bit of trouble, but we don't care. We carry on anyway. And it's interesting you say that because our loop, we just had a quick 3-hole loop because we played plenty of holes. We did the first on our Bandon course, which we refer to as the inner course. Which is it's a drivable par 4, really, about 330-ish, but hard and like nothing in the way. Then you've got, we moved on to 11 of the same golf course, which is a bit short, about 260 par 4 round the trees. And then we moved over to the big course, the J.H. Taylor course, the outer. We played the 11th there, which is about 160 yard par 3, but with the bunker. And the one club, the bunkers, that's what gets you. And interestingly, I played 1 and 11 with an 8 iron in 1 under, having had many drinks beforehand. And in the Stableford yesterday afternoon, I played 1 and 11 in level par with 14 clubs and going for both greens. So, you know, it shows that sometimes laying it back does work.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it was a beautiful weekend. I have to say, I actually went for the sun cream on Saturday afternoon. Wednesday, I didn't get down to the short sleeve. I could have, like 100%, I could have. But Crouch didn't take his off. And do you know what? I'm going to do what Crouch does because he's much better at golf than me. And I thought that's how we're going to do it. And well, I will just say as well. I hope he's listening to this. It is actually just a pleasure to play with him, and we all know he's good, whatever. But what it does, especially in a 2-ball, for me personally, it gets me in such a good rhythm. Because you're playing with someone who's not lashing at it. You're not having to look for his golf ball, and like I can't even describe it. I feel like if I played with him all of the time, I would just be better a couple of shots. And so it was good fun. But then down to the short sleeve Saturday afternoon, and I went for the Piz Bouin. I went for a bit. Is that even how you pronounce it? I'm not a big sun cream brand knower, but
yeah, other brands are available as well.
Other brands are available. And I just put a little layer on because you know you get caught sometimes in that early April sun, and you're like, I am a milk bag because it's been the winter, and I just need to be a little bit careful, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want my face to resemble an old leather bag. So I didn't go for the sun cream and I just enjoyed it. Just embraced the tightness in the skin on Sunday morning. I really did enjoy that. Like, just want to dive into the Hodgkin course.
Yeah.
Thoughts, feelings? Played it many years
Uh,
ago, but would keen to get your feels.
I'll set the scene. Hardest course in England, England Golf, national centre. Um, and I believe it was a world top 100 course and it's now fallen out. I think that's right. Now, what I'd been told is it's very hard, very tight, and overrated is what I'd been told previously. Like, people didn't think it deserved to be originally in the world top 100. And so I went there kind of almost slightly on the back foot with it. And do you know what? I thought it was really, really nice. Like a really, really solid, quite flat. But what they've done with it is, I think, brilliant. Like super, super high quality Heathland golf course. Great bunkering. I mean, beautiful bunkering across the whole course. Um, it was long. Like we played it off one tee forward, and it was just a nip under 7,000. But it was hard and fast, and so like it didn't feel that long. And the reality of it is because it's a 152, I think the slope rating on the tees that we played, just got a million shots around it. And so I felt with the shots given, it actually was very playable. And got on a good day and came away from it really, really impressed, to be honest.
And I think you've touched on a really key point there. The rating sets up your expectation. And so, I actually just had a little look whilst you were talking there. You're right. It is not in the world's top 100 anymore. It's now 33 UK Ireland, 12th in England. That obviously brings down your expectation and it probably fits that expectation. So you enjoy it much more. Whereas if it's saying it's a top 100 in the world, it isn't. It isn't a top 100 in the world. It's a very nice golf course. It's a good golf course. It's a very good test of golf. I think it's fair where it is now. But I don't think, well, it's not a top 100 in the world, so I'm glad that that's moved. But it's interesting because if it's top 100, you'd have gone disappointed, similar to how I felt at Muirfield, similar to how I feel at other places.
Yeah, I think it's right on the cut. So I think 30, whatever you said it was in GB&I, early 30s. I'm pretty sure it's something like the 30th best golf course in GB&I gets in the world top 100. So we're talking it is just outside. I think it probably does just lack a tiny bit of wow factor to
Yeah.
get in the top 100. But I said, when you take away that expectation of wow factor, then the reality of it is God, you'd be a good player playing around it, and it's a really proper, serious golf course where it really doesn't have a weakness. It just doesn't necessarily have the land to be, oh my God, that was unbelievable, like an Ailsa or something like that.
Yeah, and again, just you're absolutely bang on. You look at 10th in England's deal, Royal St Ports, and that's 90th in the world. You get to 11, which is West Sussex, and that suddenly goes to 31 UK Ireland. So you really are, and then obviously 12 is the Hodgkin course. So you really are looking at it's on that cusp. It's only moved down a little bit, but
I
interesting.
will just say the only thing with it. So I've come up from just east of London to get there, a nip under 3 hours, which I must say is on the upper limit of what I'm willing to do in a day to play a golf course. But I was up for it. I left at 6:30 in the morning, so I got about 45 minutes of big highway, if you will. And then I just went back roads for almost 2:15, and so like the drive from where I am is brutal. Like we need to get some infrastructure out that way.
Yeah, it does feel like you go back in time a little bit, doesn't it? Out in
East of
Lincoln,
the A1, like there's just nothing
yeah,
there.
Lincoln and the surrounding area. Good land for golf, very flat, had lots of opportunities, but not that many courses actually. You'd expect more out there. Obviously you got Woodall Spa and there's two courses there, and actually the Bracken's decent as well. It's a decent test. It's much more of a US style in its sort of setup. I think it's got like USGA greens or whatever. That kind of makes it feel like that. But a good course in its own right, and you can get some good deals and like a night over play both
Yeah.
courses, which really is pretty nice. But there's not a lot of courses out
£105.
there.
£105 we played, which is their midweek April, as long as you're an EG member. £105 play Woodall Spot. Oh, I mean, it's
Good.
one of the better deals that I've come across. We've been deal hunting this year a little bit, and let me tell you, that is, I think that's probably top of the tree. Now it's over in a couple of days. They go to their summer rate in May, but yeah, it was really good. And as I said, was a great joy to play with Crouch. Talking about Crouch, obviously a Sheffield boy. It was a big night last night for the Sheffield lads, wasn't it?
Very big night. Yeah. What a great win. What a win for the Fitzpatricks. Great to see. There was a lot of group chats popping off on my phone, I have to say, which was brilliant. They've done all the work, hadn't they? The foursomes 7 under, I think it was on Friday, and
Yep.
then the 15 under 4 ball Saturday. Really,
57 stands out, doesn't it?
yeah, it got them what they needed to do, and yeah, they were cruising, weren't they? They were at 33 under after 11, and then they
Yep.
just had that absolute horror show. Or I think it was 12 or 13. I think it was 12. Yeah, it was 12. Horror show with the tee shot, then not hitting the gap, then culminates in a double bogey. Suddenly, everyone else is coming at them. Raitan and his partner make 3 eagles on the day, which is obscene.
Yeah,
Um,
crazy.
yeah, then bogey 14, that par 3. But let's just talk about. I mean, I want to talk about the bunker shot that Matt Fitzpatrick has hit on 18 there. Like, it is an obscenely good golf shot. Like, are you going to see a better golf shot than that to win a tournament? It reminded me, I know it didn't go in, but it reminded me of the Spieth at the Travellers when he holed it to win, because it was that close. It was almost like that.
But you got to say, though, like, it kind of is on merit in the sense that Spieth hold that to win it, and he needed to hold that to win it in that moment. And Fitzpatrick probably needed to stiff it to win, or certainly, to close the door as emphatically as he did. So they almost have as much merit, I'd say.
Yeah, I would agree. And the only thing that I actually read Sky Sports, it was where I consume my sport, other brands available. I read an article actually this morning, and they made out as though it was all Matt. I was a little bit disappointed because I actually felt on that back nine, and Matt even said it in the interview.
Yeah,
He was the
didn't
one who was letting the team down. He was hitting the tee shot when they made the double. Yeah, he's chipping out. He's right up against a tree. The tee shot on the 14th, the par 3. Matt's putting short side in a bunker downwind. Like, good luck. It was time for him to step up, and he did, and he hit a great tee shot down the last, and then an unbelievable bunker shot after a bit of an iffy wood from Alex. But I thought by and large, Alex, the shot into 17 was a great shot, and Matt
what a
hit an
shot.
unmatched putt, like short and right. That's not like him. So I just wanted to call it out on the pod that it wasn't the Matt show. It really was a team effort, and great that Alex has now got his card for 2 years. Matt's top of the FedEx Cup. Outrageous.
I mean, there's so much good stuff in there, and really, I have to say, when, like you said, Alex hit great shot down 17, and then going down 18. If you strip back what was going on, you're really thinking that they should be making 4 there. Matt hits unbelievable drive. Alex obviously kind of cruds his 7-wood into that front trap, and as they're walking down, I'm just thinking to myself, what's going to happen here is Alex is going to have 7 foot for a PGA Tour card, and
Yeah, I thought that.
you could just tell Alex was he was walking quickly. He was moving, and he's got such like a younger older brother kind of thing going, where he almost like ran over to Matt, was like, oh, just didn't hit it great, it's all right, kind of thing on 18. And I was just like, oh my God, like I was nervous because I really wanted to win, and I was just like, oh my God, Matt's gonna leave him 7 foot. We're just gonna have to like wince at Alex trying to grind over this putt to secure the card. And you could just sense, it was just so funny. I thought the absolute Alex just like riling up the crowd like this when Matt sticks it to her foot. You could just imagine the kind of like exhale. And I was thinking, I mean, I'd probably still be like nervous over the foot foot because you're like, it's just such a big putt for his career. You think, like you said, from that young lad that caddied for him at the US Open to the kid who was there in front of the camera on the side when he won the US Open, still looking, very much like younger brother. But we always knew that he was a good player. Like, he obviously has grown up playing with you boys. And to see him win earlier on the DP World Tour around a really hard track, and now go over. I mean, what a good story tournament the Zurich's been as well the last couple of years. Obviously, McIlroy, Lowry winning it got quite a lot of headlines. And for the Fitzpatricks, first brothers to do it, they clearly have a great relationship. And to go and win your brother a PGA Tour card, I mean, for your third win of the season as well. I mean, it's just, I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, quite a lot to unpack, and I've got lots to say about it. I'm so excited for it. Yeah, I've got to call out for that. The reaction when that bunker shot went to where it was from Alex was like an all time. You just, so many of them keep it calm and and then they let out the emotions after they've held the putt. Yeah, as you say, he was whipping the fans up, he was jumping around. It was like, I was almost like, you've still got to hold it. Please calm
Yeah.
down, please. But it was brilliant to watch. It was so good. And, that was great. I think what it's done for the Zurich Classic, they've just monopolized that better ball comp market now. When it set off, no one really played. It was almost seen as a bit of a backing tournament. Now you've got the big names want to enter it with a partner, have some fun. It gets great viewership. It's actually so refreshing to watch a slightly different form of golf. Watching these guys play four ball and foursomes is really fun. So that was brilliant. Really enjoyed that. Coming on to the accolades, Alex has now got a 2-year exemption on PGA Tour. He's in the 27 players. He's in the 26 PGA Championship. Like, this is now a springboard. In the last month, he's now got his first win on the DP, first win on the PGA Tour, which is amazing. Matt becomes the first Englishman to win 3 times on the PGA Tour.
I heard that. I couldn't
Leads
believe
the
that.
FedEx Cup. It's mental, isn't it? That absolutely crazy. And then, you hear, and this kind of comes back to then some places we've played, you hear Alex being like, well, yeah, I can't celebrate too much tonight because I've got a flight to Turkey because he's going to play at the National next week. So it's just great. It's just great. I'm getting excited even talking about it.
I wonder if, I assume Matt would have a house all set up in Florida or wherever he based himself, the US. I wonder if now Alex is occupying that spare room for the rest of the year, and Matt's missus, I think, is pregnant, and so could you imagine, like, you're about to have a baby, and then all of a sudden, like, what would it be? Younger brother-in-law, just suddenly is just like taking over half the house because he's just gone to the PGA Tour.
Yeah, the 1.3 million yesterday might help though.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Yeah, the 3 English win thing, I actually couldn't believe that. Justin Rose hasn't won 3 times on the PGA Tour in a year before. I can see Faldo a bit older, but
it is surprising, isn't it? You did, but there's not that many. We talk Rose, but that's one player. He's definitely done it twice for sure. But like, that's one player, and we've not actually had that many we've had lots top of the rankings, but prolific winners. Donald, when he got to world number 1, wasn't a prolific winner. Westwood wasn't a prolific winner on the PGA Tour.
That Donald year, I remember Donald won some, he will have changed names now, but he won some tournament in a big playoff. I think there was a load of people in it to go to number 1. And I don't know why. I had it in my head Donald actually did win quite a few times on the PGA Tour. He just obviously never won anything that big. But yeah, I mean, obviously I'm wrong. Like, that actually floored me when I heard it.
Yeah, I was very surprised. But good to just tick that off. It's done now.
Yeah.
Let's get 4.
Talk about English boys. Good to see DB made the cut with John Parry, finished T13. I think that's good to see him.
Needed cash.
Yes, bit of cash, FedEx Cup points. So that was good to see as well. You probably know. Did Lowry and Koepka miss the cut in the end?
They did, yeah. They were 9 under. Cut was 10. Biggest names, really. Well, lowest ranks Fitzpatrick, obviously, world number 3 going into the field, but you'd say probably the highest profile partnership in a Lowry Koepka. An interesting partnership that I wouldn't have put together
Mm.
But great for the tournament again.
I think we forget that Kepka spent all those years on the European tour. And
Yeah.
so I think his relationships with Euro players is probably a bit stronger than your standard American.
Yeah, I completely agree. There's not many that have come and plied the trade on the DP
No.
World Tour and learned their ropes over here. So no, that's a really good point. Really good point that I actually
Can
hadn't
you?
considered.
Here you go. I'm going to throw a question to you. It's quite a loose question, but we'll see if you get the answer. Of the Kepka era, who is the other high profile American to be playing on the European tour? I appreciate that's so loose.
That is quite loose. I mean,
I'll
Patrick
give you a
Reed does
clue.
it quite a lot.
I'll give you a clue. He's on Live Now. It was very specific. It was kind of Kepka and they were like, these Americans are going about it differently, and they were kind of written about in unison. And then Kepka went on to be a better player.
He's on Live now, is he?
I think he is. I hope he is.
I'm absolutely floored. No idea.
Peter Uline was the name I had.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, it was him and Kepka. I remember reading an article, and it was very much like I could have asked that question much better, but it was because they're both kind of big stature Americans, came out of college with quite a good track record, and yeah, both went and decided to ply their trade over this way, which was not the normal route in, and yeah, obviously Kepka's gone on for much bigger and better things.
Yeah,
Anything else from the world? Yeah, go on.
Uline's dad's CEO of Titleist as well. I think it's right. Am I right in
Is he
saying?
really?
Yeah, he's very high
That
up in
helps.
Titleist. I'm sure he is. Yeah, yeah, for
There
sure.
you go. Anything else from the world of golf before we crescendo into the main event?
I would say one more interesting little wrinkle was over in China on the DP World Tour. Wiesberger breaking his 5-year hiatus from the winners' circle. Would I say it's good to see him back? Don't know. Don't know. He puts with a long putter. Don't like it. Straight away, don't like it. Everyone anchors that does that. I'm not hearing otherwise. But what was interesting, I caught the last hole actually on yesterday morning. Adrian Otegi had a 3-shot lead going into the back nine. He was one back playing 18, so he'd clearly just decided to stick it in reverse. And I turned it on and he was stood in the trees. And anyway, he's got like a 4-shot lead from third. So he's going to finish second, but he's one behind Wiesberger. He's in the trees. He chips out pretty well, but nearly puts it in the water, like really close. And then just hits this third shot. And you can tell that he's telling everyone in the grandstands to like keep your eyes out. He's just planning on hitting the grandstand and hoping the ricochet brings it back, which obviously we can't get used to. So I was thinking, he's going to get lucky here. He doesn't. It hits the grandstand, but it hits the metal of the grandstand, pings that far back, goes back into the water. He's in the water. He's thinking about taking a drop anyway. Makes 7, just like Wiesberger, just procession to the win. But quite interesting. I thought it was quite a. I think it's a shame that they can do that and they can use the grandstand. You see it at Wentworth quite often. It's like, well, just make sure you go long. As long as you cover the water, it's absolutely fine. And I think it just detracts from those front watery hazards.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, what course was it at China? Do you know?
No idea. No idea. I couldn't even tell you where it was, just in China.
Yeah, fair. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the main event. Now, I was really keen to get this one down because I think it's relatively well known that we are heading to Sand Valley this summer, which is up there with one of the best resorts in the world, all on-site resort, we'll call it. Now, I think there's a very good argument to say the best all on-site resort is Bandon Dunes. Now, I know you've been, and so keen to hear all of your thoughts, all of the courses, all the setup, everything about it. So I'll give you the floor. Give us a quick overview. What is Bandon Dunes?
I think it's going to be very, very hard. This is my opening statement on Bandon Dunes. I think it's going to be very, very hard for anywhere to compete with the amount of quality golf in it and that resort. I think it's got to be the number one in the world. I really do. I'm saying that having not played your Pinehursts, but again, the rankings would suggest that it's nowhere near. Having not played Sand Valleys, which we're looking forward to playing, having not played any of the Cabot in but they're not as big. There's obviously Bandon Dunes was the blueprint for all of the for the Sand Valleys of the world. For the other, and forgive me for not knowing the names of these other ones, but you've got like the Utah Stream Song, you got the Utah one. Essentially, Bandon Dunes has set the tone, and as we've spoken before, the idea that make it good enough, people will come.
Yeah, I love that statement.
And for me, that has to hold some value as well, because without Bandon Dunes, I wonder where we'd be in whether these areas of golf would actually be cropping up. You've got 5. Well, when I went, and I appreciate that they're still growing. You have 5 golf courses, 3 of which are in the top 100 in the world.
Yep.
And you've got a par 3 course that if there was a top 100 in the world on par 3 courses, it'd be in the top 2. Don't even need to see the rest of them in the world. I'm not saying one because I can't confirm that, but it's unbelievable. And they've now got a shorties course as well, which is pretty new, but it's kind of just like a warm up area, I think.
Yeah, shorties opened in 2004, and yeah, much like Bandon Preserve is a par 3 course basically. So 2 par 3 courses, and then 5 18s is what I'm saying.
Fine. Okay, so Shorties was there. I was there a few years ago, just before COVID. So Shorties was there. That'll be next to the range. There are some holes down there. We didn't get on that. Didn't look like necessarily something that we had to do, but do it if you're on site.
Did I just say 2004? 2024. Sorry, Shorties. So maybe they're building it when you were there. Sorry.
Yeah. So that wasn't open. Okay, cool. Difficult to get to. Here's the first thing we say. We went via San Francisco, and then San Francisco flies into North Bend, and then it's like 25 minutes, half an hour from North Bend. North Bend literally has 1 flight a day from San Francisco. It's about 11, something like that. So you've got to be there, ready to do that.
Miss it.
I believe, don't miss it. And honestly, it's a smallish flight. I think it's about an hour and a half. Everyone on that flight is wearing a golf quarter zip. Like, it's literally just golfers.
Just really a private jet, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So you can either go from San Fran to North Bend, or I believe it's Colorado. They're the only 2 places that fly into North Bend at a specific time on the day. Other routes down, a couple of people I know that have flown into Portland, driven down and played Chambers Bay en route.
Yeah, nice.
And then gone in, which I think is a good route, albeit it's a pretty long drive. So you would be wanting to stop off and play some golf along the way, which is always a great thing. No problem there, but worth bearing in mind if you are doing that North Bend and Bandon Dunes have a shuttle service from the North Bend airport. So it's really, really easy if you can get yourself to there.
How long is that drive?
About 25 minutes.
Okay, nice.
25 minutes rather than like
basically
about
there.
6 hours. Yeah, so you're pretty much there. Yeah, you fly in, you kind of catch a bit of a glimpse of it, but you're right in the pocket. Yeah, you're really, really close to it, and proper backwater America. Real West Coast, untapped West Coast, but so natural because there's just nothing there. They've done a phenomenal job of the place. You drive in and you've got your cabins and your huts that are all sort of strewn all over the place. You've got the hotel that's in the main building if you want to do that as well and tick that box. You've got full villas I call them, but like houses that you can get multiple people from the same, like big groups in. It just does cater to everything. And it was pretty obvious to that right from the get-go. You've got the big Bandon Dunes Pro Shop that's just opposite the reception where they greet you and they bring you into. But then they also have pro shops at each of the golf courses with their own logos, with their own merch. Like, it's just golfing mecca.
So that big pro shop that's kind of upon arrival, does that just carry all of the different courses in it, or is that is that the Bandon Dunes one, and then the other courses have others? Like, what's the setup there?
So from memory, that is the Bandon Dunes one. Like that is where you can get markers of all the others and a few different bits and pieces. But in terms of merch and kit,
Yeah.
that is the Bandon Dunes. The logo that's the puffin, it's
Yep.
puffin.
Yep.
That's pretty standard. That is that logo in that shop. It's a bigger and it's a bigger shop because it's a bigger unit. So we were, we were like a 5-minute golf cart buggy away from there, just down and round. Lovely little cabin. I mean, we woke up the first morning and there was like deer out in the garden bit. Like just the vibes are so high. Like there could have been a turd, just like a big turd sat in the garden. I'd be like, that's beautiful. That's just nature.
Yeah,
Who
who cares about the deer?
Yes.
All right, I think the best way to do this. Why don't you give everyone the overview of what golf you did in the number of days you did it? Because I from memory, it was a pretty action packed layout. So give us a flavour of how much you packed in, and then let's go course by course breakdown.
Yeah, good plan. So we arrived, and as I said, we got like the 11:15 flight from San Fran. So that afternoon was a smaller afternoon. So we went and did Bandon Preserve, which was the par 3 course. Also, like an arrival day, go and play the par 3 course.
Love it.
You have to go and play the par 3 course. It's like outrageous. It's an outrageously good. I think it's 12 holes, par 3 course. Honestly, if they were on the golf courses, you'd be like, this is one of the signature holes. It's absolutely phenomenal. And one of the boys, Harry, he got a hole in one on the 7th there. So that just kicked the trip off nicely. Obviously there's a bit of a rumbling on is a par 3 hole in one a hole in one. I would say no, but we were able to tick that off. Anyway, got the trip off to a real nice high.
Didn't they do a nice touch that, like, if you get a hole in one, they gave Harry, they kind of like, there was more to it than just the hole in one.
Absolutely. So we didn't know. So nothing happened. We were just like, we've got a hole in one. We're enjoying it. It's great. Well, there's no we about it. Harry got a hole in
The
one.
royal we.
We're all enjoying it. Yeah. It's like when Danny Willett talks about him and his caddy. It's like, come off it, mate. It's you. And then on the last day, reception said to Harry, we're like, we've actually got you something. Can you just head over to the Bandon Preserve to pick it up? Like, there's something there waiting for you. He was like, well, what's that? Anyway, he came back with a lovely framed picture of that hole and the hole in one on it. Like, really nice. It would be right behind me there. Like, really, really nice touch. Yeah. So it's nice. It's touches like that. And I think the other thing to call out before I get into the itinerary, which I know is the question, but I'm just waxing lyrical. Unlike some resorts where they get you on site, they know you've got nowhere else to go, and they charge you for it. Bandon Dunes isn't one of those. Like, they get you on site, but similar to like the Sand Valley where it's like $2 tacos or whatever, it's normal prices for that area. Like, it's not like we've heard Stream Song is incredibly expensive when you get on site because they know they've got you. And I think that almost devalues and limits your enjoyment. Whereas when it's all really fair and they're not just trying to take your money, you can enjoy it even more, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to get into the itinerary. The other thing to bear in mind, certainly at the time when we went, the way that it was priced up was that your first round of the day is $300. Your second round of the day is $150. Your third round of the day is free. And your fourth round of the day, you get $100 back. So depending on how crazy you want to be, you can play 4 courses for $350, theoretically.
Yeah.
We decided to have a pretty heavy schedule, but we thought we'll play 2 a day. So we'll maximize that half price second round. And then what that will allow us to do, and what we did after a few of the days, was after the second round, if we fancied 9 holes somewhere, you're basically treated like a member. It's like, oh yeah, there's a spot on Sheep Ranch or Old McDonald or Bandon Trails or Bandon Dunes, like wherever. We'll just whiz you over there and you can just play as many holes as you want over there because it's free. Like, and that was quite a nice experience as well, to be able to be like, yeah, fancy it, or nah, not today, can't be asked. Which was pretty good. So we had a pretty action-packed schedule, as I say. We did Bandon Preserve on the first afternoon, arrival afternoon. We then did And forgive me, the order may be slightly wrong, but we did Bandon Dunes, Bandon Trails, Pacific Dunes, Old MacDonald, Sheep Branch, Bandon Dunes. So we bookended about 2 Bandon Dunes and we played all the other courses once.
Love it.
Which we feel like it was a pretty good itinerary. The only thing that would switch around is Sheep Branch would play it in the afternoon. We got quite bad fog, and it's quite because it's so on the Pacific coast.
Yeah.
The fog comes in the morning.
Yeah.
And actually, certainly the front nine impacted some of those views. It was a really, really foggy
Needs a
morning.
chance to burn off.
Exactly that. And we were there in August, so it does burn off and it does get hot and lovely, really nice. But yeah, just that was something to bear in mind that we didn't know when we first went there. So really good start. So that was the itinerary.
Nice, yeah, no, that's a good tidbit, I think, for Sheep Branch. And I love personally the pricing of the kind of scaling and then money back if you get to round 4, because it ultimately just dangles the carrot in front of the golf sicko. And I'd imagine what normally happens is people almost probably do what you do, book in the 36 and be like, yeah, well, we'll have a look after, and then probably more often than not don't play any more holes, and so ban and just consistently have guests playing 36 holes, which is exactly what they want. So whoever came up with that, good on them. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, it's a really it's a smart play, isn't it? And it does give you such a nice touch, feeling like you've got that member status in like on the third round. It's like, just where'd you fancy? You're like, oh yeah, go on then. I'll have a clip on that one again. So that was pretty nice.
Okay, cool. So let's get into it course by course. So your first 18 hole was at Bandon Dunes. Now, obviously, before you set on foot on the first tee, you probably had a proper raid in that pro shop. I'm going to just ask you to kind of pro shop me along as well as do the courses. So kick me off with Bandon Dunes.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's worth noting that I got my car smashed into and my clubs nicked a year after Bandon Dunes, and all of my Bandon Dunes, just about all of my Bandon Dunes merch was in there, which is hurt. Like, that's the painful part. Like, really, you can get your golf clubs. You get new golf clubs. If anything, it's a great thing. Like, I'm not here to do an
you got
insurance
new
job
golf
for
clubs.
Yeah, but it's the mementos, it's the ball markers, it's the Bandon Dunes Yeti that I got. It was the old McDonald towel that I got. Like, it's those small mementos that really you got to get back there to do it again. I know you can order it online, but I'm just not going to do that. I've got to be on property.
Yeah,
I've got to be on property for me to get that. So that was a bit of a shame. I actually held off on the Bandon Dunes Pro Shop until the end because I wanted to get a feel for some of the different areas beforehand and get that feel. The one thing I did purchase, I should say, is the pack of 6 ball markers, one for each of the different 5 courses, and the Bandon Preserve, which was a beautiful butterfly marker. Loved it. And I used to use that a lot. So that was in the bag. That's goal. So I used all of those and I used them on their course. I like to use the ball marker on the specific course. So I hadn't actually pulled trigger on any Bandon merch. The only actual Bandon Dunes merch that I had already got my eye on was Christmas. My dad loves his golf. Bandon Dunes top was just like, it was coming back with me. Like, I'd seen one. He likes his navy, clean navy, Sevy-esque. And I was like, that's the top that's coming back with me for my dad. Other than that, I'd not really decided where I was going to go. So we all had caddies. We had, it was 2 bags to a caddy. So we had, and we were playing in pairs, obviously, better ball matches that really got stuck into. So we had, me and Harry had Miguel, Big Miguel, who was a great guy. He was a big lad, walking around 36 holes in the sun in a boiler suit hadn't impacted him. He must have a nice appetite. And I can't remember who Ryan and Ryan's mate Brett BK had. But we had Miguel, very good. They were good. Both Mexican guys, good crack. You could tell they were gambling so heavily on our matches. It was just great because your hole of putt, they're celebrating more than you. you hit a bad shot and they're giving it the grunt, all those sorts of things that you really want. It was great. Um, Bandon Dunes, I thought was excellent. I thought it was a really, really great starting point, and I was really glad we got to play it twice. Actually, um, it's not my number one, but we'll get into that as we move through later on. Right from the get go, you're just presented with holes that ask questions that allow you to play them in various different ways. You can take them on with hit driver and try and get over and through the dunes a little bit more and take some things on, have easier pitches into typically raised greens with lots of runoff areas and bits and pieces like that. Or you can play it back to pretty generous fairways. It's fair to say, but you've just got further in. Like Bandon Dunes is when we played it, not that windy, pretty nice day. Wasn't actually a crazy tough test.
What just try and set the scene a little bit, like someone who's not seen it. What's the topography like? Like we're on the west coast. Like how, yeah, like you said, you mentioned dunes there. Is it very much on the coast? Like what are you actually seeing in front of you?
Yeah, so the one of the real beauties of Bandon Dunes is you play quite a few different styles of golf in the same location. So Bandon Dunes, Pacific Dunes, I would say probably even more so Sheep Branch are Bandon Dunes, Pacific Dunes between the dunes, some heathland, but between the dunes, you're on the coast. You've got a few holes that really whip up the sea. You're on your left, on your right. You've got massive drop offs. You see the big beach and the Pacific Ocean there. So you've got like the real links. It's not a links, it doesn't feel like a links actually, but right on the coast, dune golf. And then you've got probably Sheep Ranch where they wanted it so that 18 holes, 18 greens were on the coast. So that's like really, really on the coast, which is why I mentioned the fog. You
Mm.
want to be able to see it. Um, Old Mac is a combination of all of the best Old MacDonald holes. That's why it's called that. It's all of his best creations across the world brought together and made as an 18-hole golf course. So that has a bit of everything, but still sort of on that same land. And then you got Bandon Trails, which is incredibly tree lined, big tall pines right through, almost like a Surrey golf course without
Okay.
the heathland, but very, very similar to a Surrey golf course. So yeah, what we're looking at in Bandon Dunes as we start is lots of undulation, winding, like well bunkered, winding between some dunes, and they kind of come up either side of you. You don't often see other holes around you, but then, and interestingly, every so often you throw in a green right on the coast. If you, for example, I think it's the sixth off the top of my head, par three. You miss it left, you're on the beach. You're on the Pacific beach. Like, good luck. The 16th is obviously the premier hole on the right is the beach, and it's right out. You can go for it, or you can lay it across. So it's beautiful. It really is. But I would say that the primary feature are the dunes and the undulation on Bandon Dunes.
Nice. So it sounded like a good opening gambit. 79 in the world. It was the first course built on property, as Josh said. Puffin logo, which I suppose that is the Bandon Dunes logo, is the
Yeah.
resort logo. And it sounds like the right place to start. I'd say first golf course built on property. It feels about right that you got out there first.
100%. And the other thing is, you're sat, certainly the first evening, they've got a great fire pit that overlooks the 18th on Bandon, and the main restaurant overlooks the first tee at Bandon. So really, you're sat looking at that golf course the most. So you want to get that clipped off so you can get a feel for it and you can know what people are doing. 18's a good par five, so you're watching people laying up or playing in. And the first, it's a fairly easy par four. I wouldn't say weak, but just pretty generous fairway. You can make your issues from there. You're not going to watch too many people hit it into the CAG. So yeah, I would say that's a really good starting point. Get yourself out on that golf course, get a feel for it, and then just enjoy it.
Perfect. All right. So we've had hole in one round preserve. We've kicked off with the original 18, and then you move to your afternoon of full day one.
Yeah. So we then went over to Bandon Trail. So we ate just after Bandon Dunes in the like Bandon Dunes sort of grill, sports bar grill type thing. Just very standard, well, not standard, but just like very standard like clubhouse food and like like what you'd expect at a normal golf club. And then we went over to Bandon Trails, which is completely different experience. Um, Completely tree lined, tighter than everywhere else. I know a lot of the Americans think that this is the best golf course, and I think it's because it's a different style to what you typically see. Whereas I think I was underwhelmed. I think it was still very good, but out of, I'm kind of giving away the rankings a little bit, but for me, it was the worst golf course on the property. It wasn't a bad golf course by any means. Like, I'd still happily go and play it tomorrow, and I'd be like, this is great. But when we're comparing at such a high bar at this point, because it's so similar to a lot of our very, very good golf courses over here, I'm comparing it to a St. George's Hill, to a Sunningdale, to all these like big boy golf courses that are better than it. So I'm like, well, this is just a worse version of a golf course that I could play an hour from my home. It's kind of how I felt, albeit yeah, the sun's there and all that sort of vibe. Great holes. Yeah, the 14th was, I think the story goes that those that built Bandon Dunes, the 14th tee, they were kind of stood up on the 14th tee, and that was where they got the idea for the whole property, not the mine there, the whole property. And so it's this par 4 that massive drop off down to the smallest green, again on the property, I think, certainly on the golf course. Again, you can go for it, and there's bunkers all over the place, or you can lay it back with like a 5-iron and flick down. It's not the longest hole, but it's quite a nice point. It's one of the highest points there, and you can see around for quite a long way. A really good golf course, a good logo as well. To be fair, really good logo. Just wasn't, as I've said, it's something that we play a lot of golf like that. It didn't get me going.
Yeah, interesting that. So by the rankings, 78, so one higher than Bandon Dunes, but by the sounds of it, a completely different style, and maybe just a style that we've got an embarrassing of riches of here in the UK. And so, yeah, and I can understand why the Americans would love that. Like it probably is different, and it's not something they see a huge amount over there. You think of that very kind of almost God, what's the like clinical style of golf course that they've got in most of America, and so seeing that kind of well-defined tree line course, which we're used to, probably does hit them. Logo wise, that's the butterfly, my understanding. Which
Yeah. So the preserve has a butterfly, and Trails has a butterfly. Is also the preserve has like a P and a butterfly type thing. But yeah, the main butterfly, sorry, is Trails, and I love that. I think that's the best logo out the lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna. What we'll do is we'll do a logo ranking alongside a course ranking. And now I've obviously not played the courses, but I feel like I can rank the logos if you're happy with me to do that with you.
100%, 100%. Let's do
it. Okay, cool. So Bandon Dunes, Bandon Trails. So in a day, you've clipped off the 79th and the 78th best golf course in the world. Which, let me tell you, that must feel good. Just bang bang, bang bang, get it done.
Yeah, the double barrel shotgun came out, and we just took it to the world rankings. Yeah.
Oh dear. So any more golf after that, or do you call it a day after 36? Did you cash in?
We went and played 9 on Pacific Dunes, because Pacific Dunes is again very close to Bandon Dunes, and we were there just like we'll have a little look. We'll have a look. Cool.
We'll have a look. A little just peek, a little bit of research for. So let's dive into it in the proper form. So so I assume you had a great evening, dinner around the fire pit also, and we always speak about 3Ps and is it a 5? And correct me if I'm wrong. Like I think your benchmark is Bandon Dunes when you're like, is that it is the best 5 out there, is it not?
It really is. It's, as a patio, as far as patio goes, the fact that every golf course has a form of patio is great, but the fire pit that overlooks the Bandon Dunes 18th for me is right up there as one of the great golfing patios. You can't ask for more practice facilities. They literally have short golf courses that you can just go and warm up on. They have a full grass range. They've got putting greens, chipping greens at each of the courses. Like, you just can't. And then pro shops, they have a different logo for every course on the same property. It doesn't get better. It just doesn't get better than that. And they're all good logos. Like, when
Yeah.
we start ranking these logos, none of them are like, that's crap. They're all good logos.
It's almost as if for once someone knew what they were doing. Anyway, let's get into day 2.
Day 2. So day 2, we get up very excited. We have dined in the McKee's Irish Bar. So again, pretty standard. They have opened a new steakhouse off the back of Old McDonald's since we were there, which would have been hit a lot more had that been open. We'd have been in there most nights, I would have said. Because I did feel like out of everything, maybe the variation of restaurants was the only thing that wasn't quite there. But they've now done that that pretty well with the steakhouse from what we're hearing. So the next morning we get up and it's a sheep ranch morning. It's a sheep ranch morning. So we get ourselves, and it's a little bit further away, sheep ranch, still on the property, but it's your longest. For us, it was our longest drive just to get out to Sheep Ranch. It's the newest golf course. And I would say it's the most generous golf course. I felt like it was shorter. I felt like it was more scoreable. Still a great golf course. As I say, the first sort of 9 holes was really impacted by the fog for us. And I think there's a real stretch of about 4, 5, 6 that are right on the coast. So I can't actually talk to them too much. I think it's 4 or 6. Literally, it's you tee off and it's a dogleg left to right. And the further right you cut the corner, which is, if you don't cut the corner, you're on the beach. So you're getting over the edge of the beach, the shorter the shot in is. And it's a pretty low index as well. I think it's 1 or 2, and I got a shot there. And I think that would have been a really magnificent hole to have seen properly. Now, just the Sheep Ranch finish, the sort of 16th, 17th in particular, are unbelievable. Like the 17th short par 4 with a couple of similar trees to what you see as the old McDonald logo, which we will get onto originally. You can take driver and go for it, but again, you've got the Pacific Ocean all down your left. You can bail out right. It's just so, and the fairway is pretty much fairway and then drop. They don't have rough. They just like it's like made to be really tight on the hole on there. It was beautiful, and the fog had lifted, and we really were able to enjoy the back 9 much more. I think out of all of them, it's the one I felt I didn't see as much because of that fog. Enjoyed it though. It was, and I know we've not spoken about Old McDonald yet, but I felt like it was the Pam Barton version of Old McDonald. And what I mean by that, for those who don't know RMS, Royal Mid Surrey, is it was a smaller, easier version of a bigger course, but in the same styling. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it's a fun golf course. That's the biggest thing to call out from that.
Nice. So yeah, it's the only one that doesn't find itself in the top 100 in the US. You've got it's 7th in state, which, considering there's 4 other golf courses there, you can fill in the blanks. I suppose as it's slightly further away, as you described, you're probably the least likely to go and play it as your 3rd round or 4th round. Would that ring true? Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, we typically played Bandon Dunes or Pacific Dunes as our 3rd round, just because it was like right there, easy to just clip off. As I said before, the intention is for 18 of the greens to be like with really serious sea views, and that's a pretty nice wrinkle, if you ask me.
Absolutely.
So it's a very vista heavy, fun golf course, and I would say that fun, and you should go and play it. You really, really should. I know it's not ranked the same as the others, but it's the newest. You really should play it. It's a great test. It's a great fun test of golf.
100%. I feel if you're going to make the effort to get all the way out there, you got to clip all 5, haven't you? Nice logo, quite Nairn like in Scotland, but do enjoy the Sheep Ranch logo, and actually quite a good quite a good story. I remember watching the Masters going back a couple of years, and this is when I've not been to Bandon, but I've obviously learnt more about it, learnt what the different logos are, and I just remember seeing this quite kind of comical looking guy behind the tee on 16 Augusta. He was kind of very thick set, really ridiculous sunglasses on, and just kind of had a bit of a frown on him. And he had one of those Bo Hostler visors with the little SR and the thing on his thing, and I was just like, "Hey, I know, I see you."
Yeah, and I bet whenever they sell one of those visors, I bet they have to like ring a bell and be like, "We've caught an idiot. Like someone's bought a visor." So that praise off the staff. Well done.
I'm gonna say something that will shock you and you'll be disappointed by. I would like to see one of those visors with a good logo on it, and I would just like to confirm I look like an idiot in one. You know what I mean? As in, like a bit like the Ian Poulter era. Like, did I pick up a Cobra visor and just see if it looked good? Just double check if it looked good. I did, and I looked like an idiot. So, um, yeah, maybe I just I'm feeling vulnerable and I'm admitting that to you, but maybe I will just try that on a changing room, not let you see. If it, I'm just I'm just going to put it out there.
Yeah, I think that's an internal view. It's an internal look and just a check off. Thankfully, I don't have that curiosity. I already know that I'll look like a tit, so there'll be none of that from me. And I think we're doing
Right.
Keith Mitchell a disservice calling it a Bo Hostler. Keith Mitchell's now really running the rule with it on it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I feel like the look is one of those visors, and then like the Royal St George's long socks with shorts, like and then a Mackenzie bag. Like I
kill
feel like I've
yourself.
seen it quite a lot of late.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's not get stuck too long on visors. So Sheep Ranch in the morning of day two. Where do we head for the afternoon?
So the afternoon we did Pacific Dunes, and so we went from what was the easiest course on the property to the beast, the course that just wants to kill you. I think it's the highest ranked golf course, if I'm right in
26th in
saying.
the world, so really quite a significant leap forward, and you're into pretty elite territory up in the top 30.
Yeah, it's it's just hard.
Mm.
It's just hard, and the second round of the day, you're a little bit tired as well. I would say probably try and play it in the morning. Would probably be my reference. Like, what if I'm going like when I go back, I'll try and play that in the morning. I'd switch them and play Sheep Ranch in the afternoon. You can then get that fun. Like you can you're a bit looser. You can just wang drive or wherever you want. Pacific Dunes is a same has a similar ilk feeling wise to Bandon Dunes in that it winds between some dunes, but it feels like there's more heathers. I feel like that's the wrong word. I feel like that's not what it is, but it kind of is like gauzy and like yeah, like gauzy. Yeah, it's like dunes and gauze rather than just dunes on Bandon Dunes. So you can find it and you can like flick it out, albeit you're gonna have a. It's tighter. It winds between actual cabbage, so you can't find your balls at times. There's holes right up the coast. I think the fourth again is right again goes sort of the Pacific on your right. You're right up there, and it's tight anyway. So the left is like heathland, gorse bushes. So you can't even bail out left on this one. I think it's the ninth has an interesting little wrinkle to it as well, in that it has two greens. So you play to the fairway, and at the start of the day they'll tell you which green is in play. And we played it down to the left, which is, I would say, an easier hole than up onto the right on a plateau. It all falls off from the right. So we kind of had a bit of an easier ninth. Um, it was magnificent. It really was. And architecturally, you can see why it was 26th in the world. It wasn't my favorite on the property. And I think that might be part of it was hard. Didn't play
Mm.
that well. And again, we talked about the subjective elements as to what makes your love of a golf course. I think it's one that, I've mentioned that Sheep Ranch is the one that I felt like I didn't see the most of, but the one I'd want another crack at was Pacific Dunes. That's what I'd really want to go and have another crack at it. Phenomenal golf course, and a really beautiful clubhouse restaurant that kind of
Mm.
like sits on the top and has a seafood. I think their main thing is seafood in there. and sort of 360 views from the top. You can see the Pacific dunes, first tee, but then also you've got the Bandon Dunes answer to the Cradle at Pinehurst. You know, with the big putting green with the sort of like van out there that's selling like beers and things and like crazy undulations, and you've got like 18 or 36 or whatever it is, however many holes are on there that kind of intertwine. So you've got that sort of thing is there as well, which is pretty
Nice.
cool.
And that's Pacific Dunes, relatively close to the accommodation. Like that's kind of Bandon
Pretty
Pacific.
close. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You're close enough that it's walkable if you want. Like you can just go nip out and do that. And then we actually clipped another 9 at Bandon, which played not Bandon again. We played the back 9 at Bandon after that. And what I then found was, and this has to be said actually, because it would be remiss of me not to mention it. So we've had 36-hole days. Obviously, we've had some beers. We had some beers. You have some beers after round 1, of course you do. We've then played another 9 holes, so it's actually a 45-hole day. I've done a quick maths there correctly. Yeah, maybe. Beers, not as much sleep because you're up, you're playing. So we get into the Pacific Dunes restaurant on I guess it's our third night because we've obviously had the welcoming night, the arrival night, and we're having a lovely meal, really nice meal. Next thing I know, I am sat there chatting. Next thing I know, I feel like I'm asleep. It's the only time in my life that I've passed out, fully passed out, sat at the table, sat at the
Like
table at Pacific
fainted.
Dunes, like fully fainted, like fully gone, like head hit the table by all accounts. Harry's like shouting in the restaurant, like "Shit, we need an ambulance," all that sort of stuff. They
What?
thought I was joking. Yeah, honestly,
I've never heard this.
gone. Yeah, just absolutely gone. Never happened before. Never happened since. And honestly, I felt like I was dreaming. Like I woke. Like I felt like I'd just woken up, and I kind of sat back, and I was like, "Oh, why am I in a restaurant?" And then like everyone in the restaurant is looking at me, and honestly, probably the number one time in my life that I wanted to shrink into the floor and just not be there. I really, really was just like, I need to get out of this place now. So I need to expel some demons in that restaurant, to be honest. Like, it was just a real, yeah, yeah.
So really, you're just looking to redo the Pacific Dunes experience all the way around. Yeah, you're looking to maneuver your white ball around the golf course slightly more efficiently. Maybe in the morning would be preferable, and then just not completely black out in the restaurant, which sounds fair enough.
Yeah, I think both of those would be a massive step forward. Yeah.
Oh dear, I can't believe I didn't know that. Nice little seal kind of situation logo going on with Pacific Dunes, and as I said, yeah, 26 in the world. So it is on paper anyway, the premier golf course. And then finish her off. So I know you played twice on the last day, but we've covered Bandon Dunes. But the last course, Old McDonald ranked 100 in the US, so just clips in that ranking. Beautiful logo. What was the golf course like?
The golf course is excellent. Loved the golf course. I mean, you play 1 and 2 that are fine. And on that same, like 18 is on that same sort of part of the golf course. And then 3, you hit up and over this mound, and that's where the tree is, the old McDonald tree. But I feel like it's gone. I'm sure I've
No.
heard rumblings that I think a storm knocked it down.
No. Do you know
But
what? I
when
was
we,
looking at it this morning and I was like, oh, God, it's going to be such a shame if that goes. I mean, you wax lyrical and I'll just Google it.
yeah, so you play over on the third, you play over, it's a, I don't know, 180, 200 yard carry to get over this mound that then, as you get over the mound, it just all opens out in front of you, and Old McDonald is in front of you, and actually some elements of Sheep Ranch are there as well in front of you. So it just, you get over there, it all opens up in front of you, and it just is so good. You know, it's a little bit wider, but like it's got all of the best McDonald holes across the world. So, and you can get a feel for them. So you've got Chicago Golf Club, one of the, and they give you a sheet as well on the first that will tell you what each hole is looking to represent. So I think you've got like the 17th, the road hole at St Andrews. Like you've got all of these different things. And again, you can see it. And you do need, in some ways, that sheet to go, oh, yeah, I can kind of see how that bunker and that green fits that way. And obviously, it's a different type of trouble. So I think the road hole has like gores all up the same place where the hotel would be. You know, obviously, they don't have a hotel there, but like they're trying to recreate the design of the holes as much as possible. I just thought it was such a fun experience of golf. And I do think that 1, 2, and 18 are probably the reasons why it doesn't get into that top 100 in the world because they are just like fine, really fine. But then you've got 14 holes, 15 holes, all sat together that are majestic. You've got views of the sea. It's undulated. It feels like an old school links track in that not too many dunes, but quite like you can see a lot of holes that are aside each of to the side of each other, but still good definition and sensational.
Tree's still there. 2003, 23, there was a bad storm which almost blew it over, but they've kind of pinned it down with cables, apparently. So the tree is still there, which is the logo. Question for you. Do you think that a lack of originality impacts a golf course in terms of its status in rankings and stuff like that? Because if this is, if you're just taking copies of holes from elsewhere and just wedging them all together, is it, dare I say, is it almost a bit gimmicky?
Old McDonald was, for me, the best course in the property. So, no. I think for people who are ranking it, maybe, because they're looking at a different thing. But from an experience point of view, no, it was really cool. It was so cool. Like, it really, really was cool. Just a great golf course. Really, really good golf course. And, I'm looking back and I'm trying to say exactly why it was my favourite. But actually, what was really interesting was we all walked off and went, that was the best. That was the best course we played.
Okay, let me stop you in your tracks there and pose a question to you. So give us just a couple of points on each as you go through. But you've done it. You've gone to Bandon Dunes. You've played all the Bandon Dune golf courses. How do you rank them?
So I personally will rank them 1, Old McDonald, 2, Bandon Dunes, 3, Pacific Dunes, 4, Sheep Ranch, 5, Bandon Trails. And I can give you some reasons why. Old McDonald was fun. It was brilliant. I loved it. Bandon Dunes is Bandon Dunes. Again, I played it well. We played it twice, so you get a feel for it a little bit more. And I think that does impact. Pacific Dunes 3, people will be scoffing at what I've said. I appreciate it's the best architectural golf course. And I think if I played it better and got another look at it, it may well go to 1. But I can only go off a subjective opinion of didn't have my best day. Does impact. And it beat me up, quite frankly. Sheep Ranch 4, again, we got enough that back 9 of the views. And I've said all along on this podcast, I'm a big vistas guy. Great vistas, but I can appreciate as a golf course, it probably should sit 5. But I'm not an architect. I'm not an architect. I don't design golf courses. I go on my experience, what I enjoyed. So it's 4, and then Bandon Trails at 5. Again, people will be like, that was 1. I've just played a lot of golf like that, and I played a lot of courses that look like that but are better. So it didn't wow me as much as the others did, just because, as we said earlier, we have a wealth of that a lot closer that are, again, world ranked golf courses that are very highly world ranked golf courses. So they'd be my 5. I'd love people to challenge it, and I'm sure, and I think this is the great thing about Bandon Dunes, whichever way you kind of have it, others are going to have it differently, but they are all sensational and they're all well worth. You have to play them all.
Love it, and I think that's what I'm really looking forward to at Sand Valley as well. I think there's going to be really quite stark differences between them, and so I can just imagine end of last day us sitting around and everyone doing their rankings, and I'm here for it. Let me tell you. All right, let's cap off with the kind of alt rankings, if you will. So, how do you rank the 5 Bandon Dunes course logos?
1 to 5 or 5 to 1?
1 to 5.
Okay. So, if you go on a website, you look at Old MacDonald and it's the circular OM. If you get in the pro shop, you get the tree. Now, the circular OM would be number 5 logo.
Yeah. Give us the
Tree is number 1. The tree is so good. Like, the tree is actually the benchmark of what good looks like as a logo. It's that good for me. I think it's sick. You know, it's on that course. It's just clean. Everyone you see it, you know that's Old MacDonald. Like, it's brilliant. I got a top with the tree. I've got a quarter zip with the tree. Like, I've got a quarter zip with the tree. So that was all I did in
I
damage in the
feel like
shop
I'd never
there.
see them. What are they?
It's
What
a
are tops?
warm weather one. It's a warm weather light blue one that I was a little bit slimmer at the time when I bought it, and it's one of those that it's just probably wrongish. It's close enough for it to be maybe a trussed up turkey, but I don't know. I don't know how I want to look at that.
Some people, their kind of goal is to get back in their wedding suit or whatever it might be. Yours is, so you want to get back in your Old MacDonald gear.
Fact. Absolutely fact. And I bought the towel as well, which is with some criminal. So that's number 1, Old MacDonald. Now I'm going to go a little bit off piste here. My number 2 is going to be Sheep Ranch.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is that I think it's a really clean, the stick with the SR. Now, Bandon Trails would be number 2 if it was just the butterfly.
Yeah.
But it's the butterfly and then says Bandon Trails under it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think anytime there's writing, it takes away from like the actual. And again, the butterfly might even be like right up there with Old Mac. Still, I think the tree's amazing, so it would stay there. So I'm going to go for Sheep Ranch number 2. I think it's clean, and I think I really like the Nairn logo. So again, as we mentioned, very similar to that. I think it looks great. I think it's clean. I think it's beautiful. So I'm going to go number 2 for there. I'm going to go number 3, Bandon Trails, because I think it's the best of the 3 logos that then have text underneath.
Yeah.
Number 4, I'm going to go Bandon Dunes with the puffin.
Mm-hmm.
And then number 5, I'm going for Pacific Dunes. I feel like I'm really shitting on Pacific Dunes a little bit. I couldn't find a better word. I was going to try not to swear, but that's what I'm doing, isn't it? And I don't know. I think the seals just, doesn't really represent anything to me. And yeah, everything else at Bandon Dunes is the puffin. So I'm going to go that. That's how I'm going to go. So Old Mac, Sheep Ranch, Bandon Trails, Bandon Dunes, Pacific Dunes.
And do you know what, Joshua? I have it exactly the same as you.
Yeah. Nice.
Exactly the same as you. I love a bit of FPG alignment. Old Mac is just absolutely quality. I think Sheep Ranch is absolutely quality. And I would intend on doing huge amounts of damage in both of those 2. And then I could take or leave the others. As I said, it's just a bit text heavy for me. Would obviously enjoy the ball markers a lot, but probably wouldn't look to go overly aggressive on stash.
Yeah, and funny you say that. As I say, I got quarter zip from Old MacDonald and a towel from Old MacDonald. I got a nice floral Sheep Ranch polo. Got my dad a Bandon Dunes top, but I didn't get and then I got like a Yeti that was Bandon Dunes Yeti, but I didn't buy anything merch wise Pacific Dunes or Bandon Dunes other than the ball markers.
Did you see the new Commons course at Sand Valley released their logo last week?
I haven't. I've not seen it. Is it good?
Yeah. I do you know what? I'm not sure. I haven't really settled on what my opinion on Sand Valley's logos generally are. Like, I think they've gone for the same formula. They get it. Like, different logos each courses, blah blah blah, and like there's clearly some thought that's gone into them. And I know a lot of people that really like them. I just don't think I'm absolutely captured by any of them. Like, I put Old Mac and Sheep Ranch higher than anything that's going to be on offer at Sand Valley, I think, but I just haven't got there yet. And so I'm going to, reserve full opinion post trip. But, can you be buying loads of merch from a golf course with 13 holes as well? Like, I've got a bit of an internal debate going on there as well, but it looks like an amazing 13 hole golf course, but it's not an 18 track. So it'll be interesting. Nice. Well, I think just close. I mean, Bandon Dunes is incredibly hard to actually go to these days. Like, it's
Yeah,
my understanding is you're in a ballot and your chances are not fantastic. But you got the opportunity. Maybe just it was kind of swinging up quite aggressively in terms of its popularity, and I think today it's something that if you do get the chance, or certainly if you do want to, you've got to really plan ahead and really get your ducks in a row. And then if the ballot does get pulled, you need to go do it because it's really an
yeah.
all time resort. Any final thoughts before we sign off?
Go and do it. Go and do it. It's hard. Yeah, it's a sought after place. It's hard to get, as you said there. You get the chance, go and do it. It's well worth the money. It's not cheap, but it's phenomenal.
Nice, love it. Well, as I said, you've done it. If anyone's listened to this and has burning questions as a result of it, please do reach out. Josh would love to help out in any way he can, and I certainly hope to get out there at some point in my golfing career. I'm sure I will. As ever, we are Full Program Golf, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. If you don't subscribe already, please do, and we will keep churning these out. Joshy, really enjoyed that one, mate, and I will catch you in the next one.
Catch you soon. Cheers, mate.